welcome, Maurizio, again to talk with you for the fourth time in 4 years since
True, right?
since Unconquered to now. No, 3 years since Unconquered to now. We spoke for at that time for Unconquered. Now the new album from your other project for solo project last year, and now we speak again from the new album from Goliath. So, so tell me, how was the band been in the last? Well, how was the experience to play again in Latin America with the side?
It was absolutely great. I mean, there's the Latin American fans are unique when it comes to metal. They really live it. It's like a religion. So it's like they come to the shows, and the energy is also always crazy. So we have America still very strong, and the fire's there, and it's like almost like a religion for them, the metal scene. And it's they come and they deliver, they give you everything. So I love that. So I always love to play in South America, in Latin America in general.
Nice, nice. And so, how we will focus on one date special in the Lima, Peru, because I was there singing in front of you. Perhaps you don't care about it.
No, no,
But I
no.
was singing.
It was a cool place because we played outside. It was really cool. I like that. It was a different ambiance, for I'm not. It was the only show that was outside during the whole tour, so I thought that was cool.
Okay, okay.
I got to eat ceviche, so I was happy.
Well, for me, it was the second time that I saw it in Lima, Peru, because you play years ago in Lima. So how was your experience now compared to the previous one? This one is much better than the first one, or the first one much better than the last one?
I like this one more. The crowd was because we also had different crowd that was there also for DSide, obviously. So we were playing to some people that maybe will not come to see just Cataclysm. So it was a good experience for us to showcase also our stuff, and I liked the stage much more, and it was fun show. So definitely the second time I liked it better.
Great, great. Now we are focused on this new Goliath, because I'm hearing a lot of times this new album is still maintain the sound of Kataklysm. It's normally, but you approach to the sound again with the DJ elements. Like, do you reach in the unconquered sound? That's normal. You told me at that time that's when you create these sounds of the unconquered. No, it's not thinking these results. Just you create the music, and just the music flows. So
Yeah.
how now for you? How many differences exist compared to Unconquered to this new Goliath album?
So basically, we continued where we left off with Unconquered for sound, because we really dig also the new sound direction. We going on 7 strings, and it's making the sound much heavier doing that, but we perfection it on Goliath. We find that we were able to bring it another level higher. The bass is very predominant on the album. It's a very strong, powerful sound. That's also something that Cataclysm needs to do to stay also modernized a little bit with the current things, because it's important that we are able to stay also ahead of the technology curve. So Cataclysm is trying to stay relevant in sound, as well as continuing to write its music and staying true to our heritage, as a band. So I think we need to do both things to stay, strong for the future.
Okay. Well, one of the biggest changes from this new album is that you are playing now with James Payne, one of the best drummers out there. So how was working with this new album with James Payne, and compared to the previous one with the previous drummer?
Well, we had issues that were starting with Oli over the last few years, and then I think when the pandemic happened, it's like anything. If there's a small crack, it's going to get bigger, and that's what happened. And we kind of decided to separate ways together. Like, it was just a better decision. The difference is the chemistry. This new Cataclysm now has the chemistry of the past back, and James coming in the band has brought the security level to the band that we needed. Like, that's why we did those tours also in the United States with DSI, Dark Tranquility. We did a couple of tours to solidify this chemistry together, because we spend more time with our boys in the band on the road than we do with our own families. So we have to be solid together. And so before we started writing this record, we went and captured that chemistry first to play together. Then we said, okay, now we're ready to do an album. So we started doing the record, and it came like this, really easy. in the sense that the ideas were flowing. He's very respectful of the band's past. The Northern Hyperblast thing returned on this album as well, something that we haven't done in like probably 4 albums, because Ollie didn't want to do it, things like that. So now having him back has brought back that thing. And what I mean by the Northern Hyperblast is that it's that blast beat with the one bass drum hit, that Kataklysm was famous for in the early days. It kind of disappeared when Ollie came in, but now is back, and that's because he's respecting the history of the band, and that's bringing the band tighter, in my opinion, together. So it's a good place, and I think for our first record together, it's a very solid album.
Okay. So, well, I remember when I asked you about the future of the Kataklysm last year, talking about from your solo album at that time, and you told me that you complete the work for this new album, etc., for Goliath. But a curious thing that approached to me is that the name Goliath, even the Elite Encounter art is the David and Goliath there. So, who came with the idea? So, what exactly means the Goliath? Is a conceptual album? Is related to the Christianity, or who or what are you trying to say with the name Goliath?
So Goliath is an idea, right? So basically, Goliath obviously is biblical, but it's not based on, for us as a religion, choosing a religion. We're not religious people, but we are aware of what's happening, and Goliath is kind of a thing that's thousands of years old. And you move forward to today, and we're still facing the same problems. So we have not learned as humans, like the evolution. So we are still fighting the war where we are oppressed. We still have to fight to have a space in this earth. I find that the COVID situation and the pandemic really was a heavy-handed approach from governments all over. They were very rough with people, and they give no choice. I'm big on freedom of choice and freedom of speech. These are 2 important things, and we lose these things where it's finished, So for me, it's like me and you are not doing this interview if there's no freedom of speech. So it's very important. And so Goliath is an idea that comes from being oppressed, fighting back on a global level, and also a mental level. Because to be honest, Goliath can also be your own enemy. It can be yourself. You can be afraid of everything. The fear is a big enemy. Just being depressed and all this stuff that stops you from becoming who you're supposed to be. So Goliath is an idea like that, and the monster is the machine, and the people on David on the bottom is us. So sometimes there's a song called title track's called Goliath, and there's a line in it that says no enemy's too big. So to me, that's a very important line, and this album says everything.
Okay. Well, now talking about a little about more the history of the band, because when Metalero we did the ranking of the all albums from Kataklysm since the beginning to now, and one thing that I forgot to ask you is about what happened exactly with the one of the albums that and I think create whole sound from the Kataklysm to now. I remember the Victims of the Fallen World at that time. Well, for me, it was a great album. That's why it's one of the 5 or 6 albums that I prefer from you, and I got it in CD. So, but at that time, you didn't release this album through Nuclear Blast. You did it by other label, but all the time, I think a lot of people. I remember very well that this album people doesn't like at that time. There's not the sound from the Kataklysm. There is no Temple of Knowledge, etc., etc. So, what happened at that time with that album?
So the Victims of this Fallen World was the fracture of the past and the future of the band. It was my first album as a vocalist. We were very green when we did the record, in the sense that it's a very innocent album. And I think there's something special about that, because there was expectations on one side, and on the other side, there was no expectations, especially from us, because it's a band can be judged really heavily from its first inception, and this for us was our first inception as the new lineup.
Yeah.
But the band has history, so basically the people that love the old singer, they love that super extreme stuff. They didn't find that on this album, because it was a much more modernized, groove oriented record.
Yeah.
Some touch of hardcore as well in there. There was all kinds of stuff, but it didn't have really a direction. in my opinion. It was kind of like, we just want to break the past in the future. And that's the album. It's the black sheep record of our discography. You know, it's the, that's like, some people absolutely love it and adore it, and some people hate it. So it's like, it's a 50-50 situation. It's the only album that we have that's like that. We sometimes play songs from it, like As My World Burns and Imminent Downfall. Sometimes we'll play those tracks, but it's rare, you know, because we have such a big discography at the moment. With 15 records, it's very difficult for us to fit everything, you know, but it's still part of our family. We don't deny the record. You know, it's an important album because it was a real album, you know, for us. It depicted our feelings at that time, you know.
Yeah, that is for me too, because on the night, the cover art big some of this new album has a cover art like the 90s, like streets, like a people suffering in the
Yeah,
streets, social
yeah.
aspect. It's very related from that era. And relating to this, as you can see now, a lot of bands are re-recording the old albums. Some Caballera brothers record the first album and the first EP from Sepultura, Morbid Visions, and Vestal Devastation. So perhaps with this new impact or this kind of, did you think with your pals and Cataclysm to re-record these victims of this fallen guard with new sound of Cataclysm?
No, I think that we already remixed it. The first version was really sounding not good, like, but we remixed it later on. I like things when they're authentic. The only song we redid with me on vocals was The Awakener. I did a different version. It's called the Awakener 2000, I think, something, or 2.0, I don't remember. But The Awakener was the only track that we re-recorded in our history because I wanted to do it. They wanted me to do it as with vocals, the label. But I am a firm believer in original stuff. Like, I don't like to re-record stuff because the magic is in the first originals. To redo it, you kind of dilute it. In my opinion, the classics, you know. So this is my opinion. Some bands can do it, it's fine, you know. So sometimes it's cool to hear it with the new sound, how it would sound. But that first recording is innocent, you know. I'm big on that. Like, it's that first fucking thing you did that you don't know if it's going to be a hit or not, but then
Yes.
it becomes a hit. It's you've done something special. And I think re-recording it is not the same,
Yes, yes. And
because you
for
already
me,
know it's a hit, you know. It's like already popular, so it's not
yes,
the
yes,
same.
but yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That's true. So when, as I told you, when I did the ranking for Cataclysm home albums, I do not you have eras, because Sorcery, Temple are like the same. It's like the same vein. But as you told me, Victims as the new way. But Prophecy is different from the Victims. Then
Yeah.
Sings Epic, you create the sound from Shadows, Serenity, and the Arms Prevail until the Heavens Bend. But then, when waiting for the end to come, you create a different kind of melodic death metal, not like the previous albums. So, how do you manage your eras in Cataclysm when you need to present live? Because some people like the era from the first two, then other people like the Victims of the Fallen World, then other people like a lot to play songs from the Epic, from the Shadows, from Serenity, etc. And I know, I for me, when you play the Kill Shot live in Lima, I'm screaming because I like that song a lot. So that's why I recorded the whole song to
Cool.
publish it on our web. So how do you manage this aspect? Because it's very, for many, for a little people, they don't know about the catalyst. For them, they sound like everything's like the same. But for me, when I started with the hear music, for me, all albums is very different. So how do you manage this aspect to play which on the sound that now you play with 7 strings? So a lot of things change in life.
Yeah. Because we are like the world is. The world keeps changing, and we are the same as when we write. To me, it's very important to not repeat the same record. I think that people are deaf if they think that every Cataclysm record is the same. It's absolutely not the same. Serenity and Fire is not like In the Arms of Devastation. In the Arms of Devastation is not like Prophecy.
Yes.
You know, like they are individual albums that are completely independent from each other, and you can tell also by sound. Ghosts and Gods sounds nothing like I don't know, the Prevail. They're just opposites almost. You know, it's not opposites. The bass is there. right? So the basic of Cataclysm is going to remain, which is aggressiveness, melodic riffs, grooves, and my voice. That's the base. But then how we it's like taking a pizza. You make different ingredients every rock album. That's what we're doing, you know. So, for example, Victims of This Fallen World is a pineapple pizza, which in Italy they don't like, but some people like it, right?
Yeah.
So it's you have to kind of see it like that. And one thing I did tell people every time I hear somebody, why don't you do Crippled and Broken again, or the same world, or you should go back to that world? And I say, why? That's the classic. That's the song. It's classic because of that. As I Slither is classic because of that. Kill Shot, it's its own identity. There is
Yeah.
no other song that sounds like the Kill Shot.
Yeah.
It's Kill Shot, right?
Mhm.
So I'm a huge believer, and once you do something, don't go back and repeat it, because you're going to just destroy it, you know, like let it be the flower it is, you know, then move to something new and then create something new. And that's what we're here for. But at the same time, you listen to Kill Shot, you listen to Taking the World by Storm, Crippled and Broken, you know it's the same band. That's the key, you know, it's to know that it's the same band. So I think people are not paying attention when they say every album sounds the same. It's absolutely not true, you know, with
Yeah, for me
Cataclysm.
too. For me too. I'm according with you because I got most of your albums in CD, so I really relax. So into this aspect for you, which album or which albums are the milestones in the Cataclysm career, who define the sound today?
So every record has like an important aspect, you know. There's we've been lucky that we have like what they call hits on each album. We've had like Waiting for the End to Come, it would be a song like called Elevate, it was a big song, Crippled and Broken on that record. But the key albums where has revolutionized the band, I would say there's they call it the trifecta, which is like Shadows and Dust, Serenity and Fire, In the Arms of Devastation, those three, and then Prevail. They were one after the other. So those four records, that was a very important time. And then Ghosts and Gods was a big record for Cataclysm, was also album of the month everywhere, was like won a Grammy for that album. So that was a big one. And I think we have a new situation happening right now with Goliath. It's the same thing, album of the month everywhere. It's continuing to grow. This is the fastest selling and streaming record we've done so far after all these years. It's like moving very, very rapidly. So it's a good sign that we are in the right path for the band, you know. But to me, albums are all about the fan in the sense that you have a specific album that you will like because of a certain period in your time that you listen to that album. And no matter what I do, I'll never beat it, because for you, it was the album at your time, you know. So there's people that is like that, like Serenity and Fire, nothing you will do will beat it, because in that time I needed that album and it was there for me, and it was a great record. And that, I think, is a statement for a lot of people, you know. Then you have fans that like everything you do, and every record they're excited and it's cool. But you got fans that are just, that's the record, man, you know. So it's like Metallica, Master of Puppets, or Injustice, or everybody's got their favorite, you know. So it's when you have 15 albums, it gets difficult.
Yeah. Well, obviously you got a formula with 15 albums. That's normally. I
Yeah.
remember. Well, I remember when I hear for the first time Epic at the beginnings of 2000s, and obviously manipulator salt. I remember the songs. The
Epic,
catchy chorus. This way,
yeah.
and you try to maintain this chorus in the albums that you say Shadows and Dust, in Shadows and Dust. Great.
Yeah.
So the same as the Ambassador of Pain, say the Cripple Up Broken, and then taking taking the word of my son in the Prevail
Yeah.
album. That's you sing the lyrics. It's very clear. So
It's important for me because I write in maybe in a commercial way, you know, where the people can remember, and I do it in a way that I like when people can still sing along to death metal, which is difficult to do with a lot of bands. But for us, it's something that I approach it as a singer, not just a growler in a band, you know, because death metal, when you look at the structure, okay, when you're singing death metal, it's going to be much closer to hip hop, because rap is rhythmic. So
Yeah.
the death metal vocals will be rhythmic. Be like DSI will be like, you know, like that.
Yeah.
It's almost like rapping, but
Yeah.
it's the same. It's because there is no melody. But I sing in a way where I try to put a melody in the voice and you can announce it. So basically, and I'm
Yeah.
going like, so it's a bit different. And sometimes I'll do the same thing, you know, like the rhythmic stuff. But it's just, that's why my lyrics are not like 3 pages of blah, 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 blah. It's more short, poetic, and singing, you know, so it's different. And I think some people attach themselves to that a little bit easier, and the songs are catchy. And that's the thing. We are very catchy as a band. I think that we have big grooves and people are able to sing along. And I think that's important because I'm a vocalist, and I think the lyrics are important. So it's so I want them to remember it, you know, like it's like if you give me Meshuggah, I can tell you the riffs. Oh, wow, you know, it's like cool. But I don't remember one lyric. Oh, that's it. I don't know what the guy's saying. There's no chorus
Yeah. Well,
really.
you are right. Right.
I don't know, right? So that's the difference. Even Deicide, when he sings, he's got choruses. He's got like, you know, things that come back and people remember, you know, kill the Christians, you know, whatever it is. So he's able to have that structure as well, you know.
Yes, yes, that is true. That is true. Well, we are very close to this interview, Mauricio. For this aspect, what plans do you have? What kind of plan or future plans do you have for this new album, Goliath? Perhaps you will embark in another tours when you are more busy because you have more than one band. You play with your solo band. You have the other band with Roman aspects. And you have your own business in the music industry. Well, you have a lot to do. So, what kind of future do you have for Kataklysm at this moment?
So for me, it's like the focus right now is Kataklysm because the record is also brand new and it's having a lot of good momentum, and it's important that I put a effort in it and push. So we will tour for it, and we're leaving soon for Europe. We're gonna do 2 weeks of open airs like Wacken, Summer Breeze, Partisan, Metal Days, a lot of open airs, and it's coming out right when the album is coming out, August 11th. So we are there promoting the album, and then we will start officially the Goliath campaign in Canada. We're going to do that in November. And then next year, we're going to start moving around the US, Europe again on a tour. And then we'll see about Latin America, maybe some festivals down there. We'll figure it out. But we are definitely planning on doing more.
Okay. Well, as I said in the first question, talking about other aspects in the music industry in general, you are part of the music industry because you work with Nuclear Blast, you have your own business in with the Distortion Music Group, the Distortion Music Group, etc. So with this kind of stuff. So now I think this week I read this week I read an article about the algorithms in the people's tastes, music, entertainment, movies, etc., etc., etc. And the algorithm says that what want to say. The algorithm says that movie. What do you want to listen? That the algorithm say that music, and etc. And a lot of things changed compared to the 80s and 90s when the people discover like me, or hey, please share with me this tape, share with me this CD. It's very different. Or you can see the CD in the magazines, the cover art, and are touched by the magic of the cover art, and you buy the CD. That's the way what I started me hearing music. But now the algorithm resume all these aspects for the life. With this aspect, the question goes to do you think the human being are losing the free will to select the taste in general?
It's just a different world now, man. Like when we started, I mean, the internet was the fax machine, you know. So it's like, so it's a completely different world. I miss the days of, you know, there was a record store and everybody would go there and everybody would buy, trade, do all kinds of stuff. I mean, I remember going to the store called Rock and Stock in Canada, and every time I would go there, it would be like hanging out, and then Gorguts guys are there, the Cryptopsy guys are in front, Voivod guys are there, we're all hanging out. It was a good time, you know, and there was competition, you know, there was a lot of stuff. Now everything's digital, everything is online, the whole world's going online, to be honest with you. It's everything is going there. So there's a good in it, which you can reach much more people, and it's faster, but you know, there's missing this authenticity about it all, you know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Well, one of the last questions with this aspect. Well, I remember when we spoke in some podcast in Metal and talking about the metal scene are since the 90s, especially from the EP or demo from Vader, from Paul and Vader. Then they record a pop songs from the 80s era or 70s era, and they play like death metal stuff. So if you have the opportunity to create, re-record a pop song that influence besides of metal influence that you have, which song will be perhaps in some albums from Kataklysm?
I don't think we're going to do any covers except for the one we did, which is the American Way from Sacred Reich. We did that one, but that's it. I don't think we'll do more than that.
Okay. Well, Maurizio, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. Terrific guy as always. I hope Sundays, say for the third time, Kataklysm live. I hope soon. So have a great day. Have a great welcome. Perhaps you want to add something to your Latin American fans and
thank you.
followers.
Thank you so much for all of you guys, all the support you're giving me all these years, man. We love you all, and hopefully we see you soon. Cheers.